Good afternoon, everyone. It is Saturday, February 28th, 2026, the last day of February. And into this evening's video, we're going to be going over all the latest and greatest for this upcoming pattern, which I think will be very, very active, and we'll see repeated severe potential and snowstorms in some areas. A lot to discuss, a lot to go over. There's been a lot of talk about this on the internet, a lot on social media, so we're going to get into it right now. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. And of course, leave a comment down below where you're watching from. I would greatly appreciate it. So to get right into it here, this is what we got going on right now. So this is just the last hour or so of radar. And you can see we do have this notable area of snow making its way down through the kind of northern plains into the even areas of the kind of Midwest Ohio Valley. Some even severe possibly storms going on down here in areas of Florida. Been sporadic warnings ongoing so far today, and then some rain out west, and maybe a little bit of winter weather up here, mainly in Atlantic Canada. Otherwise, it's relatively quiet today, and that is reflected well with our watches, warnings, and advisories here. This is what we got going on right now, and this is it. I mean, look at the whole country here. This is literally the only stuff going on. We have some red flag warnings still up in Wyoming, Colorado, and Nebraska here, so please be careful if you're burning anything outside. And then we have a few areas here. They're from separate systems. They're winter weather advisories. So these right here for the snow that's ongoing right now. And then this is a kind of interesting addition. Areas of Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska. We do have some winter weather advisories up for the kind of beginning stages of this snowstorm you may have been hearing about. So we do have these up. We'll probably see somewhat of an expansion to these over the next couple of days, probably by tomorrow, if anything else. So we'll have to watch for those. We'll go over that here in a second. So this is the severe potential as outlined from the Storm Prediction Center. This is a day 5 risk here. So note, please do. This is out there. This is not something the Storm Prediction Center typically does. They actually issued this yesterday, so it would have been day 6. They have made some changes to this. So what this really is, more than anything else, is a 15% chance of seeing some sort of severe weather within 25 miles of any given point inside that yellow kind of oval you see there. So they have shifted this to the east and mainly east, some to the south, mainly east here to include more of Arkansas. It kind of as of yesterday, it was more like it was kind of more like this almost. So they've shifted it down. I think for good reason. We have seen some trends in model guidance that indicate this, but we don't know any specifics now. All we do know is that there is a chance of seeing severe weather. This is for Wednesday, this coming week. So we'll have to watch this closely. We'll go over that in a minute as well. So moving on here, I'm going to show you guys several different models for this upcoming snow event. I do think we're going to see it. It's just a matter of when exactly and where and who sees it and all that good stuff. So let's get into it. This is the GFS model, and this is starting off Sunday evening, tomorrow evening. 30 hours from now, we have snow in areas of Kansas, Nebraska, and Missouri. Not a forecast, but we do have some. A lot of variance in model guidance here. This is the GFS, like I said, so it moves on here. Very light with this. I mean, very light. Our global model guidance has completely gone away from something major here. It does show something, just not a lot. And so this is getting into Monday morning. We have some form of snow, maybe some freezing rain falling in the kind of Midwest, Ohio Valley areas here. Not anything major, mainly south of the I-70 corridor. And then it moves to the east a little bit. So let's start off a little bit further east. This was the frame we were just looking at. So this is getting into Monday afternoon. We got snow in areas of the Virginias, maybe even into North Carolina. This purple indicated here is sleet, and there's pink is freezing rain. The green is obviously just normal rain, but I mean, very light, not really anything noticeable. I do want to watch the potential here for seeing freezing rain. I think we could see it. Just want to watch it. But that kind of sticks around in some areas for an extended period of time. So you could locally in areas of mainly the Virginias pick up a reasonable amount of freezing rain. We'll go over the specific graphics when we get a little bit closer, but there's a second push of moisture here as we're making our way into Tuesday and even into Wednesday here up into the northeast. The GFS even has dropped this off. I mean, it has really dropped it off. The European has as well. Not quite as much. We'll look at it in a second, and it really does a whole lot of nothing with this system. So how about the European? Well, this is starting off Sunday evening, tomorrow evening. It does nothing for the first wave. I mean, I'm talking nothing for the first wave. We get into Tuesday morning, and we're really focusing further to the east. If we would have seen anything, it would have been right here. And the reason I think this is a little bit off is because we do have cold air. You can see it denoted by these blue lines. That means there's cold air residing in this area. And obviously you can see your moisture down here to the south. I'm a little bit skeptical of the absolute nothingness going on here, but at the same time, it's the European. The GFS is relatively similar to it. So let's move east. And this is starting off early Tuesday morning. Early Tuesday morning. Really, when anything starts here, it starts with some freezing rain. However, it does transition to more of a snowstorm for areas of the interior Northeast, interior New England here, areas of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. It does translate up into Maine a little bit and get that low going just off the shore. It's over 1,000 millibars, so nothing crazy, but it does do a little bit more. It's just not a lot to speak of from our global model guidance, that is. So let's look into some short range guidance. This is the fun stuff. So this is starting off Sunday, tomorrow, about lunchtime. And here's what we get to happen. We can put it in motion here. Quickly, as we make our way into the mid and late afternoon hours on Sunday, you start to see more happen. There's a lot of rain to the south. Blue on this map is obviously snow, and the areas of this kind of orange is sleet. You'll see pink show up as well. So as we make our way overnight on Sunday into Monday, these down here, these areas here, and in Illinois and Missouri is extremely heavy snow. You see this orange here is sleet. Like I said, there's some freezing rain mixing in. This is the HRRR model, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that a second ago. So this is a reliable short-range model. I don't know if it's off its rockers, but it's showing something pretty insane here. And it transitions more as we make our way into Monday morning to a freezing rain and sleet thing than snow. Or there's a more dangerous corridor of sleet and freezing rain here, getting towards the Louisville area, Frankfort, Kentucky. I mean, there's still snow involved, don't get me wrong. It's just not as much. Let's move this east a little bit. And the HRRR model, the latest full run we have, only goes out until about Monday afternoon. So the rest of the event up here for the Northeast is not in range yet. We'll have to work our way closer before we can do that. So what about other short range models? Well, this is the NAM 3K. So it's the high resolution version of the NAM. It has its issues, it has its quirks, but it can be good for some things. It's done well in the past. As we make our way into Sunday and the afternoon hours, it's about 4 or 5 o'clock. Look at what we get. We get snow in areas of Nebraska, and then Iowa, Missouri, and then there's a lot more freezing rain and sleet. So it just does more mixing. I think it might be onto something. I don't know if we're going to be quite cold enough for as much snow as the HRRR says, but it does show it. And as we make our way into Monday morning here, right, just after the sun has come up, you can see in pink here in areas of Illinois, Indiana, even down to the Ohio River, we do have freezing rain. I think it's a valid concern here to pay close attention to this. But I mean, there are corridors here of heavier snow. We have a little bit more with this. So where does it go? Well, the last frame we have, it's Tuesday about midnight, Monday into Tuesday here. Big corridor of freezing rain all the way down even as far south as northern Georgia. There's little pockets of freezing rain showing up here. Something to note. And this is the last frame we got. So again, for the Northeast, we don't have that part of the event yet. So there's the NAM 3K. Now, how about the RRFSA? This is supposed to replace the model I just showed you, the NAM 3K, sometime this year. So let's see if we're going to be working with something good. Well, I don't know. What it does with this is a little bit insane. We get to Sunday afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock. It starts with snow and sleet, right? And it transitions here relatively quickly to a big sleet storm. And so it's interesting. Not a whole lot of snow. Now you'll see when I show you the snowfall graphics from these models how sleet and snow can show up on the same map. I'll show you. I'll explain myself here in a minute. This is getting into Monday morning. You do have snow in areas along the Ohio River, even as far east as Virginia here, and it translates down to the south and east a little bit. And the last few frames we have, it starts to go in 3-hour increments. So it gets a little bit more choppy. We have a little bit more with this. So this is getting into early Tuesday morning here. Sleet, freezing rain, and then it does transition to more snow for the Northeast. So even our shorter range models do show this. Pretty quick hitting, but definitely some notable snow. So let's go into some snowfall totals here. Here's the European ensemble. Our ensemble guidance has given up on this storm. This little corridor you see here in areas of the Dakotas, Minnesota here is from what's going on right now. I'm being completely serious when I say that this is our signal. We don't even have an inch anymore. And so it's a little surprising to me that we don't have an inch. It still does have something for the Northeast. Areas of Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, Massachusetts. Does give you guys a little bit something. Not a lot, though. So there's the European ensemble. I will show you the national blend of models here. And it's shockingly similar. I mean, surprisingly so to me. This is our corridor. We don't even have half an inch show up in here. Pretty similar for the Northeast to the Euro ensemble, and it gives localized areas a little bit more, but a general 1.5 to 2.5 inches across the areas of the Northeast. So there's that. How about the European AI ensemble? It's remained pretty steady. I'll put it like that. Here's our corridor of the main energy here. It does break it up in this area. Not as much goes on right there, but to start off in areas of Missouri, just shy of 3 inches falls, and then for areas of the kind of the southern mid or northern mid Atlantic and southern New England areas, even up into the Northeast, it does have a little bit of something. So operational run wise here, this is the GFS, the morning run. Let's see if we have enough of this run. We do. So this is the latest run that we have right here. So it's pretty splotchy. It shows snow for the main wave here, but not a whole lot. It does beef it up a little bit as it gets into the Virginias here. So something to pay attention to, but I don't necessarily buy there being nearly 6 inches in Virginia, West Virginia from this event. I just don't necessarily buy it. It does beef up the Northeast in general, not in comparison to areas further south. So that's interesting. How about the European? I mean, it's sad. If you're a snow fan in areas of the Midwest, this is just sad. I mean, it shows that initial corridor of snow that we're seeing right now. This right here, this like a few hundredths of an inch of a signal is what we've got to work with off the latest Euro. I don't buy that necessarily, guys. I really don't. It does do more for the Northeast. Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, areas of northern New York here. It does drop locally 5 to 6 inches, maybe a little bit more. So it does drop some. It's mainly just for the Northeast, though. So European AI, it's strikingly similar. Our global model guidance does not like this storm system anymore. Has that little tiny corridor, nothing really. Virginia, West Virginia, a little bit more, and then Northeast, something. So, how about short range model guidance wise? Here's the HRRR. Here's what it did. I'm not saying, guys, that I buy this scenario, but I think we have potential for this scenario. I guess I'll put it like that. I mean, it starts off in areas of Nebraska and Kansas here, works its way into far southern areas of Iowa, mainly into Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana, dropping locally 7, maybe 8 inches. I don't know if we have that potential, but it does show it. So there's that. Now, I'm just going to use the same page and we're going to switch around a little bit. So here's the NAM. This is what it did through the event. A little bit smaller, more concise of a corridor here. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can just tell the overall areas. Right along the Iowa and Missouri border, some locally higher totals. Illinois has some higher totals. And again, we don't really have it for the Northeast as much, but it does, as it's starting off, starting to drop some there. So what about the RRFSA model? This is what I'm talking about, guys. Do not share this picture, please. Do you see how there's areas of Missouri here that have like these absurd amounts of snow that we didn't see that falling? That's because this is also kind of measuring sleet a little bit. So this is why I want to be careful about showing you a quote unquote snowfall map. This can pick up on other things here, but it's just a lot more beefed up on the RRFSA here. A lot more beefed up. Kansas, Nebraska to start off with, mainly a central Missouri threat here. As you make your way into Illinois and Indiana, still something notable, but not nearly as much so as areas further west. And let's see, we do have the rest of it. So this is kind of the run for the Northeast. I don't necessarily. It's kind of got this reversed. I think more of this will be up in the Northeast than down here in the Midwest. I want to be careful about that. But our short range model guidance is showing something way more than our global guidance is. So it's a headache of a forecast. Put it that way. So let's take a deep breath and collect ourselves here. We're going to move a little bit wider of a view and just kind of take a broad look at areas along and east of the Rockies here. So this is starting off with the European model, starting off tomorrow morning. So you can see there's an area of moisture there. It's supposed to be our storm system for the Northeast, and then there it comes in, goes out. And then this is This is starting off March the 4th here. And you can see these storms. We do have that risk up for Wednesday the 4th. So our global model guidance shows that. And then as we make our way into the 7th, 8th, right in here, I do want to watch this closely. The Storm Prediction Center has not outlined this yet. I think they will drop some sort of risk for this. It's about right about a week away, 168 hours, but it does show something. So that's interesting. Now, I do want to watch the March 10th through the 12th time frame. I think we could have a very high impact storm system in that time frame. Very high impact. So we'll see it here in a second. Anywhere you see these oranges and yellows, all of them have potential to be severe storms. Every single one of them. And in the atmosphere, with the atmosphere being the way it is. But here we go. The 10th, 11th, and here we go. The morning of March the 11th. This is what we have to look at. So this right here is undoubtedly a line of severe storms, undoubtedly because of the way the atmosphere is set up, and then you have obviously this corridor of snow and freezing rain falling. So our other model guidance shows something similar to this as well. This isn't just the Euro, but because it's the Euro, I do respect it. It's 264 hours away as well. So something to consider with the range of this. There has been consistency though. But that rolls in, rolls out. Huge system. Even gets severe weather all the way over to the eastern seaboard states. So that's interesting. I mean, this right here, for example, is this coming March the 12th, this Thursday afternoon. We got storms rolling through areas of the southeast and even along the Appalachian Mountains. So it makes its way east a little bit further than some of our other storms might. And this is the last frame. So a lot just went on in there. A lot of information to digest. So how about the GFS? Let's feed you more information, right? Here's starting off. We're just gonna kind of go through this event. The snow event here is the first wave, second wave, not a whole lot. Last wave, okay, so there's that. Everyone's done and tired talking about that. I'll go back a little bit. Here's the fourth. It does show so some of that moisture down there. So that's supporting our severe threat a little bit. And then we get into the seventh. There's what I'm talking about. There's something goes on in areas of the Central Plains. I do want to watch closely for the seventh, maybe even into the eighth. Maybe both days. Who knows? And then you get into the 10th and 11th. Now, it's a little bit more messy, as the GFS tends to do, but it does have the same idea here. Big low pressure, severe weather to the south, and snow to the north. And it kind of spins around a little bit. But, I mean, if you take this frame right here, like, what a frame. You got snow along the U.S.-Canada border, very heavy in areas, freezing rain, a line of storms, likely severe down to the south in areas of Texas. So not a forecast. This is a long ways away, but do keep in mind that the pattern will support this. We'll go over the pattern here in a minute. I mean, it gets snow. We get into the 18th, and not the 18th, the 12th, 18Z on the 12th. So this is the kind of early afternoon this coming, well, not this coming Thursday, but March the 12th. That's a Thursday. We have snow in areas a little bit further to the south. Now, here's what I'm talking about with a wild pattern. This is the 15th, March the 15th, way out there. And we have a system that looks like this. I mean, we have a low pressure kind of cutting down from up north through the areas such as the Great Lakes and Midwest. Rain to the south, not as necessarily severe weather, just rain, and then snow to the north, locally heavy. And we get this, I mean, snow as far south as the Southern Appalachians and Virginia here, North Carolina, something to watch. And like this frame right here is essentially a blizzard. You have a 987 low sitting over areas of southern New England, not over the water, not a forecast either. I mean, this is it's probably about as far away from a forecast as it's going to get at this point. 366 hours out is not what you look at for reliability's sake. But look at this snow. Winter is not over. Not yet. I think it's going to have a few more chances to try to come back. But that rolls in and out, and this is the last frame we got. So that was a lot, right? So let me discuss with you a little bit of our severe potential and why I think we're going to see it. So this is the Euro model, and this is 500 millibars. This is about 3 or 4 miles above your head, 18,000 feet. And this is the wind speed at that layer, as well as the geopotential height contours. So don't focus on what those words mean too much. Just I'll explain this to you when I need to. So this right here, this is starting off the morning of the 4th when we have our severe threat. See this little area of more intense winds, and you also see this kind of closed contour right here. That means we have a low pressure right there, and it has a jet streak down to the south of it. It's pretty typical, pretty textbook, right? Well, move that on a few more frames here, and let me reload it first. I'm gonna have to take it back out to where it needs to go here. Let's see. So yeah, we start this off. I mean, this is getting into the evening of the 4th. We have this little jet streak here. It could get some severe weather going, absolutely. But that rolls in and out. Then we have another one. This is the 6th. Let's get to the 7th and show you that. So a little bit messy of a look here with this big bowling ball of a low down here over the Baja California regions. And does it eject? It kind of spins around and sits there. It's a little bit interesting to me. It sits there for a long time before finally ejecting. And you know what? You see when it ejects? The 11th. This is our upper air pattern for the 11th when that storm system was ongoing, 264 hours away. This is a ridiculous trough. I mean, that's the word I would use. Just such a big diving trough here, just massive. You can see this jet streak over here. That would be getting the snow going. It also would be getting severe weather going down here, like we saw. I mean, just huge, huge storm system. It even amplifies. I mean, crazy stuff. Not crazy in the sense that it can't happen. I think the pattern absolutely supports this. It doesn't surprise me to see this. I just don't buy the specifics, not yet, not the locations or the timing, just in general. This is the last frame we have. So there's just several of these like little short waves that roll through, and by some of them I mean by huge, not little, but several of them roll through, mainly in areas like this right here. I think that's where we're gonna have the majority of our severe threat. Just a lot of those higher winds roll through that area. And that low sitting down there over the Baja regions is a little bit interesting to me, but that jet streak right there could get stuff going. Very interesting, right? So let's take this right here with this in mind. Let's look at our moisture a little bit. So I'm going to reload this before I have to later. Let's see, let's get this out to where we were. So what you're looking at here is dew points at the surface. Where it turns blue on this map, that is where you have 60-degree dew points or more. This is just the temperature a parcel would need to cool to condense and make water vapor. So I know that sounds like a big sciencey term, and essentially it is. But if you have these 60s dew points, that's enough to get severe weather going, the more intense severe weather. So you'll see these little like essentially triangles of it, right? This one's kind of a triangle, right? That sticks up from the Gulf of Mexico. You'll see multiple of them. This is starting off the 4th, and you can see we do have those dew points in place there. So they can get the severe weather going on the 4th. Watch how, here's what I'm talking about, between the 6th and the 7th, maybe the 8th, we get dew points in the 60s all the way up into Iowa and Nebraska. This is what I'm talking about. We could have severe weather in more abnormal locations for this time of year because we have these really far northern pools of moisture. But watch what we get. This is the 9th, 10th. We get 60s dew points to the upper peninsula of Michigan on this run of the European model. So that is absolutely uncommon and not normal. I don't necessarily buy it specifically, but there have been multiple runs like this that show it. So I do want to watch it. But then as we make our way, this is the 11th or so. So this is the low pressure, right? Very strong low pressure, I must note. Right here, it's got a front down here. It's got a warm front up here. So this is what got all that snow going back here. It got all that severe weather going down here. I mean, it was that huge system that we saw in the European model. Here it is on a surface map. And there are multiple models indicating that when that storm goes through, so when it makes its full passage as we get into like the 13th, you can see how it really clears out those dew points for most of the country. So we might enter more of a severe weather lull, if you will, but they come right back. I mean, this is getting into the 15th, and we have this low pressure forming. You get these upper 50s dew points further inland. So something to watch for sure. So let's look at our AI model guidance just briefly here. This is the European AI starting off this coming Sunday morning here. So it does not much. It really doesn't do much with that initial system here. Second push up into the northeast is a little bit more intense, but that moves out. Everyone's done talking about that. Here's this blob of moisture associated with that severe threat. So AI model guidance supports it as well. The 6th, the 7th also supports it right here. You can see this area of more intense green, that just more moisture is all that really indicates. And these models only go out 10 days, so this is getting into the morning of the 10th. But something about this already looks like it's loading up to do something. All this cold air up here and all this moisture down here would lead me to believe something might happen when they meet. and we're only left to guess on a run like this. So what about the GFS AI model? Starting off now, shows that first wave a little bit more intense, a little bit more snow, but nothing crazy. Second wave in and out, and then this is that moisture associated with the severe threats. GFS AI agrees, moves out. Here's the seventh, so some sort of line maybe of storms rolling through a whole lot of regions here, just the eastern areas of the United States, just put it like that. And take it out to the end frame, there's definitely something brewing right here. I mean, if I've ever seen it, you got a low pressure in the middle of it all, big moisture bomb to the south, and denoted by this bold blue line you see right here, cold air to the north. So you see all this up here, and again, it would lead me to believe what's going to happen when they meet, and we can only guess. So our AI guidance supports the active pattern. Let's just put it like that, put it simply. So pattern discussion wise, here we go here. This is starting off the fourth, and what you're looking at, areas of red you see on this map, are higher pressure. That's warmer air aloft. So typically that just brings warmer air, even at the surface. Areas of blue, that's a trough of lower pressure, and that's cooler air. Oftentimes, I want you guys to think about that as a cold air source. Like all this up here is a cold air source. Just think about it like that. We'll discuss temperatures themselves here in a minute. So here we go. Starting off the fourth here. So I don't know why I moved that. Did not mean to. So here we go. Here you see these black lines. They kind of kink like this ever so slightly. That is our shortwave trough associated with that severe threat on the fourth. So it is there. And so let's move past that. As we get into the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, something seems to happen. It's a little bit later on this run. See that there's the signal. Let me go a few more frames. Here's the signal right here for some sort of bowling ball low to sit down here in areas like far western Mexico, the Baja California regions for several days. See how it just kind of sits there for a couple days and then finally kind of connects and ejects to the east. So you take this right here is the morning of the 11th. This is when we have that huge storm system. So the reason that it's so high impact, you got this big area of cold air that extends everywhere, it seems. And so this is our cold air source, right? And you can see it's met by a very, very large warm air source. So you would, somewhere in the middle, something's going to happen. And that's exactly what happened. So our pattern supports some system like that. You move past it. Does anything really happen? Not especially, although I do want to note that we do have some sort of pattern change mid-month. You see how these blues and even like these, just the neutral, that white, dip down a little bit further. You'll see on our temperature map here in a second that something happens as we get right towards the middle of the month. So let's look at it here. This is starting off Sunday, 12 hours from now, just to start off with the whole thing. I do think there is a shot of cooler air associated with this possible snow, as you would expect. It does translate up into the northeast, and I think this could be almost brutally cold air, maybe. But I do also want to note for areas a little bit further to the south, you see how there's kind of an extension of blue right here? It's called cold air damming, and that happens sometimes when you get a high pressure up here. It throws this colder air down to the east of the Appalachian Mountains. And so, our neighbors in even southern Georgia here might be relatively warm, and in central northern South Carolina and areas of North Carolina, it could be in the 40s and 50s. Kind of a weird thing. But to start it next week, might have a few days of cold air damming to work with. There it is right there. Is that kind of little subtle area of neutral to below average this coming Tuesday. So a couple days of that. But look at this. We're cooking. We start cooking with gas as we get into like the middle of the first week, to the middle of the second half of the first week of March. There's so much red here, and the intensity of these reds is amazing to me. It's just well above average for this time of year, and we could be in the 70s and 80s for the South, and that's not unheard of, but it's quite warm for starting off March. But look at this right here. It's this widespread. If you're in the Midwest, this looks like a torch. Just got a lot of warmer air. There's the 6th, the 7th, 8th, 9th, and then right here, here's where you can tell something changed a bit. Right there is a big battleground of temperatures, and this is exactly why. If you got a low pressure right here, you got all this rain to the south. It has the potential to be severe because it's warm, and then you have all this corridor of snow up here because it's cooler. So you have a big bomb of a low rolling through the central areas of the country with temperatures that look like this. You could only assume there's going to be snow here and rain here. You could just only assume. And that's exactly what we got, if you remember what I just showed you. But moving past that, let's go out to the end of the run. I'm not going to show you anything else specific. This is the end frame. Something's different about this. Our reds have turned to yellow, so they've kind of depleted a little bit. And you can see areas of southern Canada up here and even areas of the lower 48 are starting to cool off a little bit. There's been talk of a big stratospheric warming event up in the high latitudes. I mean, high latitudes, I mean like the North Pole. And really, all that is on a fundamental level is something gets disrupted miles up in the sky, way up towards the North Pole. And what that can do is it can have major implications on the weather hundreds, if not thousands, of miles away. So this is kind of why we get this pattern change once again, where you have cold air starting to fall down from the northern areas of Canada all the way into the lower 48. We will have to watch over the next couple days as these models go out further where this cold air makes it. Does it make it down to the east, the south? Where does it go? We'll have to watch. But there has been talk of that sudden stratospheric warming event that could very much disrupt the polar vortex. It could disrupt our jet stream and change things. But I do think that, hold on a second, I do think that before then, a lot of activity can happen. I call this our activity map. You may have heard me say that yesterday. This is the total amount of precipitation that the U.S. will supposedly see based on the European ensemble over the next 15 or 16 days. You can obviously see there's a corridor right here of the most intense colors. And that's just the most precipitation that falls. The values of these colors do not matter at this point. I'm really just showing you this to show you where the majority of our activity will be. What this shows me, we have low pressures that form in this area that shoot off to the north. And it yanks up that Gulf moisture from the south. And so I honestly think in areas like this, where you have the highest totals, none of that's going to fall as snow or ice. It's going to be all rain. So there could be flooding concerns in areas of the central plains, the southern plains, the deep south. All of these regions right here, I really do want to watch. Of course, there's obviously kind of another highlight spot up there in areas of the Midwest. So there's just a lot. There's a lot to discuss with this. This video is probably on the longer side. I have no idea when I started this. I can't remember. But there's a lot happening here. I think we'll have a lot of activity, a lot of storms to track. So it's important that you stay tuned and watch for more updates from anybody, because there'll just be a lot to discuss. So all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I likely will not have you guys a morning video out tomorrow, as I've got to be at work pretty early. But I'll have you guys an evening video out. We'll go over all the stuff we just went over. Once again, I'll give you all the latest and updated information. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.